How's it going, guys? My name is Jason, and this is Inspire Scuba. Today we will be discussing the Padi Enriched Air specialty course. I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who is already subscribed, and if you aren't, go ahead and leave a subscription below and like this video if it provides you with value. Without further ado, let's dive in. So, what is enriched air? Enriched air is any gas mixture that provides you with more than 21% oxygen. Whenever you normally dive on regular air, it is literally just that, compressed air with 21% oxygen. Usually you have mixtures up to about 32% is the average in recreational and non-tech diving, but you go more into depth and with different mixtures, including tri-mixes, when you get into commercial diving or tech diving. So when you do decide to take this course, which honestly I cannot recommend enough that you go ahead and sign up for it today, because you can complete it in just as little as one single afternoon without even having to get in the water, although you do have the option to get in and do 2 dives. But when you take this course, you will learn how to analyze your tanks, you will learn how to calculate new bottom times, and you'll also go more into depth into oxygen toxicity and the effects of various issues with gas. Finally, your instructor will also help you set up your computer, if you've already got one, and set it to nitrogen and change the percentage of oxygen. This goes back into calculating your new bottom times and figuring out with charts and math how long you have at depth. Back in the day when diving was new, you had to do literally everything by hand. Computers revolutionized everything and makes it so much more accessible to the common diver. So, what are the benefits of enriched air? Glad you asked. For one, it increases your bottom time. While it does not negate the need for a safety stop, it definitely enhances the effectiveness, so it's definitely worth something to have in your repertoire, especially if you're planning on diving for longer. If you're like me and you just want to dive, enriched air is for you. During the course, you will learn how to calculate your new surface intervals. Next up, it increases the amount of repetitive dives that you can do throughout the day. So that just means you get to get in the water even more during a single dive trip. Really definitely gives you the bang for your buck when you're planning an expensive trip to, say, I don't know, like Fiji, and you're dropping a couple grand. You want to get the most dives out of it. Finally, and some will argue that this is the most important benefit of enriched air, is there is a lot of anecdotal evidence that it decreases your fatigue after a dive. Most believe that it has to do with the lack of nitrogen in your body, like the buildup after your dive. Although, as far as I've been able to tell, there isn't necessarily enough scientific evidence to 100% back this, but 9 out of 10 professional divers will support this and gives it the diver approval. Now, while enriched air does increase your bottom times, it does not necessarily give you deeper dives. Going back and through the course, you'll learn how to calculate your max depths. Usually you're looking at, for recreational diving, no more than 100 feet. This is because when you're diving on enriched air, it increases your risks. Disclaimer, it increases your risk of oxygen toxicity, and that's something that they'll go more over in depth, and something that I will go in depth more in a future video, and I'll leave that linked below. So, what are the prerequisites? You must be at least 12 years of age and have an open water certification. That's it. There's no special prerequisites or anything. You just have to be older than a toddler, basically, and have experience as a certified diver. Once you get that open water certification, you are qualified to jump in and sign up for your next course. One thing to go over is the cost. So, how much does it cost? Currently, Padi has it listed for 180 USD. You will need some gear, nothing too fancy, but you will need a cylinder, which your shop should provide, an O2 analyzer, which again the shop should provide, and they can help you get set up with purchasing your own if this is something that you plan on doing regularly. So when diving with Enriched Air, it is important to note as well that every time you dive and get your tank refilled, you have to analyze it and make sure that it is the appropriate air mixture. You cannot just go and pick up some random tank from the dive shop. You have to make sure it's analyzed. That is for safety reasons and goes back into oxygen toxicity and the various dangers involved with diving on different levels of O2. Enriched Air does open the door to a whole new amount of diving, so I cannot stress enough how much I would recommend this certification, especially if it makes you less tired after a dive. So there you have it. There is my introduction to Enriched Air diving with Padi. Go ahead and give us a subscribe at the bottom and smash that like button if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video, and hopefully we'll be starting the next series soon. Bye!